Welcome to Inside Edition. I'm Deborah Norville. The publisher calls this the book that Congress doesn't want you to see. Inside Congress is by Ronald Kessler, an award-winning former investigative reporter for the Washington Post and Wall Street Journal, who has earlier taken aim at the White House, the CIA, and the FBI. Well, now his target is Capitol Hill, where he says you'll find philanderers, tyrants, and those who live above the law.
We're talking wild sex, wild out-of-control corruption, wild arrogance, abuse of power.
Stories of scandal and corruption erupting from our nation's capital are certainly not new news, but some new revelations may not set well with Washington.
You still have members of Congress who have trysts in their hideaway offices.
It's all here in Ronald Kessler's book, Inside Congress, a shocking account of indiscretions by the people who enact our nation's laws.
Is this book going to make people angry?
I think so. You know, people are pretty much in denial about how bad things are.
We're talking about blatant.
And wouldn't any book about congressional shenanigans need to at least mention Senator Ted Kennedy? Well, Kessler recounts an incident in which the senator, allegedly driving under the influence, almost hit a Capitol police officer.
The officer suggested that he get a taxi. Of course, he would never arrest him. His superiors made the officer give the keys back to Ted Kennedy and allowed Ted Kennedy to get back in his own car and drive off totally plastered.
However, now Kennedy gets top marks from Kessler as one of today's best legislators. But he also tells the story of the Attic Girl, a former female staffer during the mid-'80s who was said to use the Dirksen Senate building's attic for numerous sexual encounters. And Wayne Beckett, a former officer on the Capitol Police Force, Congress's law enforcement agency, recalls the night he interrupted an esteemed congressman.
The back office, there were lights on, and went in there, and one of the members of Congress was back there and had his secretary bent over the desk, and all you could see was just flesh.
Beckett said the congressman was a powerful one at the time.
Wilbur Mills.
The late Congressman Wilbur Mills was apparently livid about the interruption and didn't hesitate to throw his weight around. Beckett says his supervisor sent him home, erased any record of his being on duty, and told him if Mills knew his identity, he could have been fired.
The way to keep it so nobody knows about it is you get rid of everybody, you know, that stumbles into it. You know.
Mills went on to greater scandal during his fling with stripper Fannie Fox in 1974. And although times have changed since then, the good old-fashioned sex scandal is still with us.
An intern on the staff of Congressman Sonny Bono says that when she rejected his advances, he quickly removed her from any professional duties.
Kessler names Frederique Sandretto as the intern. She declined to be interviewed for this report, as did Congressman Bono. But he did say the allegations contained in the story are completely unfounded and totally untrue. Juicy sex scandals aside, the main point that Kessler seems to want to make is that, in his opinion, lawmakers act above the law.
What are some of the more egregious abuses that you found in looking at Congress?
I think the most egregious thing was that the Capitol Police, if they, by mistake or without knowledge, arrest a congressman or arrest a powerful staffer, then they, quote, unarrest that person.
How is this possible?
Anything is possible in Congress. They can do what they want. They make the rules for everyone but themselves.
Kessler says an example of that is former Michigan Congressman William Ford. He allegedly was arrested in 1983 for a drunken driving accident. Minutes later, he was unarrested. Former Capitol Police Officer Terry Coons says his friend was the arresting officer.
I asked him, and I said, well, why did they tell you to let him go? Why did they let him drive off? And he said he was apparently some big shot congressman that they felt that they had to let him go. Congress dictates to the police department what they should and should not do, and what they should not do is arrest a congressman for drunk driving.
I would just suggest to all of you...
The Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, doesn't get away clean in this book either. Kessler says that Gingrich covered up for a staffer by claiming that he owned a gun that was really hers, so that the Capitol Police wouldn't arrest her. He also accuses Gingrich and others of wasteful spending when it comes to decorating their offices.
He has $20,000 chairs, for example, custom-made curtains, custom-made carpeting in his offices.
Gingrich's office says their files show no record of a chair of this type or cost, and that a check of Capitol Police files reveals no record of the gun incident. Kessler insists his facts are correct.
The chair recognizes...
I really hope that when people read this book, that they will vote out these people who are corrupt, who are hypocrites, who are sleazy, and vote in decent, honorable people.
Senator Kennedy's spokespersons declined to comment on what they called gossip. Calls to former Michigan Congressman William Ford went unanswered, and the Capitol Police, who declined to be interviewed on camera, sent us a letter defending their integrity. They say Kessler's referring to outdated alleged incidents and that the book does not reflect the actions and attitudes of the agency today.